Hello there, folks. It's good to be back with y'all on the Twain table. Today's topic is going to be, I guess you could say it's going to be a little bit dimensional. And I don't normally do these type of particular topics, but I was thinking about back when I was in the Somerville, Cambridge, Massachusetts area, and I was going around to different environments, checking out all the different kinds of musicians that I heard about there. And two of them that come to mind are simply the great, legendary Mick Goodrick. And the other is the great saxophonist, educator, George Garzone, maybe known to some as George Garzoni. So where I'm going to go with this is talking about George's chromatic triadic approach. George used the word from time to time strategies, which you can say is the correct word, strategies. But since this is a Telecaster Twain table talk, we're not going to use the word strategies because it's got strat in it. And we do love strats, but we're going to call it teletactics instead of strategies. Sorry about the misusage. I didn't want to get too telepathic. But George's approach is very interesting, and it's a system that is really, I think, worth investigating. It's incorporating four groups of triads: the major triad, the minor triad, the diminished triad, and the augmented triad. And I'm sure most of you know the formulas for those four triads. And if you don't, take the time and go look those formulas up. Something that you kind of need to know somewhere along that line. And the way I kind of look at it, in a roundabout way, when I'm out fishing, I like to look at rocks. I pick up all kinds of rocks and stones. I like to look at plants. Sometimes when I'm in certain landscapes, I pick up several pine cones and I look at pine cones. When September rolls around, I love to see and witness the beginning of the leaves change here in New England. I happen to be in Massachusetts. And I'm also right near the Vermont line. So it's a fantastic moment to witness in nature, to see those trees go from summer into fall, and especially in the moments of mid-September to late September, into October, into late October, November. That complete change of color, splendid color. And that's the correlation here between what I'm talking about today is when you are trying to find various applications and methodologies for going on to improvising, finding ways into flowing, into excursions, into returning over playing whatever the subject is for the harmonic conditions that you're facing. This George Garzoni method approach with triads is one that I think at some point in your playing sphere, it's worth investigating. And one of the things that's important to remember when you utilize the triads, connecting, say, for an example, a major triad with a minor triad, or a major triad and a major triad, or a major triad with a diminished triad. Right before you go to the next grouping of triads, whichever one that you want to use, you should always use a note up or down a half step away from connecting to the next triad group that you're going to use. And it's okay. Your choice of what you're going to connect to, it's up to you. And you'll become more familiar with how you want to utilize and take advantage of this application in your improvisation by spending the necessary time it's going to take to utilize the George Garzone chromatic triadic approach. And it will pay off. It will pay off in dividends. You will find a new resource for melodic inventions to come up with little strong statements that you can incorporate into your passages. And it'll become second nature when you're playing along, and all of a sudden you'll say, oh yeah, I'm going to embellish this right now with my triadic approach. And it's just like when I go out fishing. My intentions is to go out fishing. I might be trying to fish for trout. I might be trying to fish for bass or whatever species. But while I'm there, I'm also looking at my surroundings, making perceptions and observations of the landscape, specifically the symmetrical and asymmetrical shapes that are around me, not unlike the triads that we're talking about here. So I'm picking up rocks and stones. I'm looking at a variety of plants. I walk up around the corner and I'm in a bunch of areas where there's pine trees. There's pine cones all over the place. I start picking up the pine cones. I'm handling them. I'm looking at the shapes of them, the color. I sniff them. And it all works together. This is all working together. These ideas are filtering in that you can use while you're on stage soloing. You can think back and say, I think I'm going to use a symmetrical idea here or an asymmetrical idea. You know, we're all born with asymmetrical faces. We all have some exhibiting symmetrical properties. So that in itself is kind of what I'm pondering here today and wanting to share with you. And I know that this kind of subject can be very tedious and boring for many. But like with anything, sometimes you have to ask yourself, why are you so bored with that? Or why does something enchant you? Why is something so compelling? You have to examine all of those particular reasons, and that will help you in your explorations and as you're moving forward with your telecasting. So thank you once again for your patience with me here at the Twain table. We are going to be doing a lot of different deep dives into many, many subject matters pertaining to the visions of the past and the visions of the future of the Telecaster. So stay tuned. And as they say in the YouTube land, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And wishing all a safe season's greetings. And keep a Telecaster around you nearby and pick it up whenever you feel it's the proper time to do so, and see what spills out of you. And once again, thank you for joining me here at the Twain table with the Plank Talk. Thanks so much.